When the first trailer for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings released, the short but sweet appearance from Abomination managed to turn many heads, and even more questions emerged about that sole fact. And that is why today, we are going to talk about Abomination, about the possibility of him getting a standalone movie, and exactly where was he after the events of The Incredible Hulk, which supposedly was part of the Phase 1 of the MCU, even though this last detail is not official or anything. Introduction. Back in 2008, the character of Emil Blonsky appeared in The Incredible Hulk as the main antagonist in the movie set within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Blonsky is a mercenary hired by Thunderbolt Roth to hunt down Bruce Banner, aka Hulk. At one point during the movie, he decides to inject himself with Banner's blood to be able to defeat the Hulk. But the whole experiment backfires, and instead Blonsky is turned into the Hulk-like monstrosity that we know now as Abomination. And in one of the last scenes of the movie, he is defeated by the Hulk, taken by Ross's men, and put into captivity. And with all this in mind, we are going to try to find out just what happened with him, and give you a little bit more insight into the character. What happened to Abomination at the end of The Incredible Hulk? As all of us who watched the movie, we all know what happened to Blonsky at the end of the movie. He fought the Hulk, and while he had a better position in the battle, he was overpowered when Bruce's powers finally kicked in, subduing Abomination and choking him with a large chain around the neck at one point. The Hulk would have ended Abomination's life at the time if it wasn't for Betty Ross, who intervened in the whole situation, pleading to not kill Abomination, and Bruce not becoming a killer. Angered, the Hulk released Abomination, who then fell to the floor, after which we all saw him taken into custody by the United States Army. But this was all the information we got about him in the movie, keeping many loose ends about what happened to the character after the mayhem both of them caused in the entire city. The first movie did well enough to set up itself for a sequel, in which Blonsky would eventually make his return, but this didn't happen as Edward Norton quit his role and was replaced by Mark Ruffalo, which also led to a tone change in the interpretation of the Hulk in the MCU, with the planned sequel being scrapped right away, and the Abomination remaining in limbo. Abomination between The Incredible Hulk and Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings. One of the biggest mysteries surrounding the character is the period between when we last saw him being taken into captivity by the US Army, and him appearing out of nowhere almost 13 years after in the tournament organized by the man himself, the Mandarin. It is easy to forget that the MCU got off to an unsteady start way back in 2008, with both a home run and a miss, Iron Man being a hit, and The Incredible Hulk nowhere near successful. Edward Norton, who first played the Hulk, was recast by Mark Ruffalo as the Green Giant, and it was only the year of 2016 when the Hulk made his second appearance in the MCU. Tim Roth was the guy playing the villain Abomination on the big screen, and when we take a look back at things, he did an amazing job portraying the character as a whole. But Abomination got some bad critics by the comic book fans, saying he looked nothing like his counterpart. And today, surprisingly, we see Abomination in the trailer of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, making an unexpected return to the big screen. And from the short footage, we can see that he looks different, far closer to his comic book counterpart. This is partly due to the fact that the CGI has been improved since 2008. And just how much more money Marvel has to play around with. His end in the aforementioned movie we saw, Abomination defeated and taken prisoner by General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Roth, who seems like has a facility that can even hold a being like Abomination, and the fact that he has been experimenting on creating super soldiers for years. A surprising twist in the Marvel one-shot The Consultant showed us that the World Security Council wanted to free Abomination, with Emil Blonsky being considered as a hero, a soldier going the lengths to protect his country. They even pressured Nick Fury to include him in Avengers. Initiative S.H.I.E.L.D. agents Phil Coulson and Jasper Sitwell conspired to ensure that this madness does not happen, using Tony Stark in the process, indicating that Abomination has likely spent some time in prison, a cryo suspension in a prison in Alaska, according to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but it is still disputable. Another factor that plays a huge part in the whole process is whether he was erased from existence by the Thanos snap. And if he was, this might be the explanation of how he escaped, because nobody would expect him to rematerialize after 5 years of him not being present.
You don't deserve this power. Now watch your death!
Will Abomination return to the MCU? After the dust has settled, many fans would like to know if Abomination is returning in the MCU, and if that is the case, in what way? Especially now since the MCU has expanded so much that it now includes a whole tie-in television universe full of opportunities for his return among the others. Kevin Feige, during the 2020's Investors Day, shared some additional details about the MCU's expansion, including some new information on previously confirmed TV shows. And it was revealed that if Abomination makes his return into the MCU, it would be through the She-Hulk series. So yes, he is definitely coming back, but as part of another series, and not a standalone movie as many speculated. Fans were excited to hear this news, as Abomination had a certain cult status among MCU fans, especially since his short and interesting tenure in the MCU left many craving for more.
Is that all you've got?
Will Tim Roth reprise his role? Now that we know that Abomination is making his return in the MCU, another question that has been circling around for a while is whether Tim Roth will reprise his role as Abomination, or will he be recast, just like the Hulk was back in the day. His interpretation of the character was well received by the critics and fans alike, but seeing how the Hulk miniverse within the MCU has had some changes, it would not surprise us if Marvel decides to recast him. But as things stand now, Kevin Feige has hinted that along with Abomination's return, we might also expect Tim Roth to be back yet again, playing the villain just like back in the day, making his long-awaited return to the big screen as part of the MCU. One thing is for sure, the Abomination is now moving in a very good direction, which, together with him, somehow being called in the 10 Rings Mysterious Tournament is an excellent start. However, this will likely be a cameo of Tim Roth's Abomination before he receives a bigger screen time in the upcoming She-Hulk series, suggesting that he will be a force to be reckoned with in the future of the MCU's Phase 4.
You don't understand a word I'm saying, but if you'll just get back on the table.
On a related note, tell us down in the comments, what kind of future would you like to see an Abomination in? And what kind of an impact would you like to see from this monstrosity that has been in the MCU, as we all know, for a long time? And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you would like to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.